Now, why would I want to do that? What's up, guys? Tukey here, back again with another episode of my Hartford Whalers franchise mode series here on NHL 18. And today we wrap up this season. Now, more than likely, we're not going to be a playoff team, but there was that discussion at the end of the last episode. After we went and acquired Ryan McDonough, Jake Gardiner, and Jared Spurgeon, as to whether or not we should now sell them and look to build towards the draft. But after reading your feedback and kind of, taking a look at everything myself, we are going to just move forward with how this team currently is. Whether or not this defense right now is good enough to win a championship, we'll see. There might be a couple of changes in the future. Same thing offensively. The hope is that Jake DeBrusk is going to be ready to replace Dadonov on that third line full time. Dadonov only has 19 points this year. He has power play time too, so that's been incredibly disappointing. We still need to figure out a couple of things despite having that champions tag, and we'll do that over the next offseason. But for now, our main goal is just to be as competitive as we can. Maybe we can sneak back into a playoff spot. But before we begin the sim, two things that we need to address. First off, you guys have been fairly adamant when it comes to using this draft board, right? And swearing up and down to me that it's actually effective this year. And when players show up as exact potentials, that is truly what it means, which of course is what it should mean. Of course, it's interesting when it's just nothing but potential top 5 picks, but I've taken your advice. I've gone through and I've marked down every player. I've added them to the short list. Every player that is currently identified as exact elite. The most interesting player would be Clemens, because Clemens is projected to go undrafted at this point in time. So if Clemens ends up being one of those low elite steals, you guys are 100% right, and I will not doubt you again, and we'll actually start making a bit more use of the of this feature of viewing the draft class before the season, looking for franchise players during the season, etc. So you can't blame me for being a little bit conservative towards wanting to believe that feature actually works just because of how it's worked in years past, but I'm excited if it does work because it means good things for this team. Speaking of good things for this team moving forward, because we are going to be holding on to certain players, we might as well try to re-sign David Pastrnak right now. We might as well try to re-sign other players as well. When it comes to the 85% trick, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know if it'll work here. I'm going to try. The scary thought is if maybe because of the morale system he gets offended at a low offer or something and won't answer back for a bit. It's at least worth trying the 85% trick because we're going to be saving about $1.2 million if this were to actually work. Again, it's been really inconsistent so far this year. A lot of that probably has to do with us being an expansion team, but we will see if Pastrnak accepts. Nolan Patrick and Mitch Marner also need deals. I mean, a lot of players have their contracts coming up. When it comes to UFAs, I mean, really the UFAs should be the top priority because obviously we can offer sheet a ton of these RFAs, but we should have enough money to re-sign everybody. We should. So that's exactly what I'm going to look to do. We know that we're going to bring back Max Jones, and again, we'll see if the 85% trick works. This is almost like an off-season video at this point, but 107.5 is the magic number there. Jake DeBrusk, somebody who really needs to have a strong end to this season. He's somebody who, his future here with this team is very, very much up in the air right now, so we'll see what he can do moving forward. Chris Tierney looking for a decent enough deal. Again, I love him as a third-line center, even a fourth-line center, depending on who we have. So I'm not against giving him a decent contract. We'll see if he accepts under the 85% trick, though. Daniel Sprong wants to get paid. Holy shit. But at the very least, he is looking like he will become that second-line offensive dynamo that we need him to become. So that's looking good. Again, we'll see if the 85% trick works. Andre Burakovsky, another player who wants a decent bit of money, but it could work out for us. 3625 would be the 85% for him. Mitch Marner, of course, wants to get paid, not as much as some other players like David Pastrnak, which is a little bit surprising. 5295 is not an option, so we'll go right up to 5.3 over the next 3 years. Again, if this works, we're looking good. But it's been very inconsistent where this trick has worked so far in NHL 18. It's not even necessarily a trick. It's a legitimate tool to try and offer, players as, the least amount of money that you possibly can. We'll just see if it happens. And then goaltenders were good. So let's see if any of those players accept under the reduced terms. And in the meantime, we will move forward. Again, Mitch Marner is still currently injured. So Joe Morrow is in on the fourth line right wing spot. We'll see how that goes. Certainly no guarantee of that working out all that well for us. Chris Tierney accepted, which is great. Burakovsky accepted. DeBrusk, Jones, Sprong. That is tremendous for us. Those aren't the big-time names like a Patrick, Pastrnak, or Marner, but we'll see what happens. We should get an answer here in a moment. Mitch Marner is 100%. Pastrnak accepted as well, so there you go. The 85% trick does still work. A lot of it, though, does depend on your team's status at the time, I feel like. So, thankfully for us having the Champions tag right now, we can re-sign those players for cheap. If this was still directly after the expansion draft, odds are we are going to have to spend a little bit more to keep players here. But thankfully, we have been able to get this team into a situation where those players are willing to take that pay cut to stay here. And it's crazy how quickly that has turned around for us. This is only, our third season? And it's already turned around to that extent. But really quickly, let's take a look at upcoming UFAs. Dadonov's going to be let go. Morrow's going to be let go. You might be surprised. I think I'm going to offer Shore a contract as well. I really like him as a fourth-line player. If I can remember to... I don't have my phone there next to me. It's on the other side of the room. So if I can remember to bring up ye old calculator app on my PC, we'll be good to go. Get that keyboard ASMR going. 1675. If I was better at math, I wouldn't need a keyboard, but damn it, it was never my strong suit. History and geography. For those who are wondering what the hell I was actually good at in high school, it was those two. And definitely not math. Definitely not math. 415 over 2 years for Spurgeon's a decent enough deal. And again, if there's a better free agent option, we simply get rid of Spurgeon at the start of free agency and go after that player. But Dadonov will be let go. Morrow will be let go, not sure. And then down in the system, let's see. Zykov I'm willing to let go of. We'll have to sign Jet Wu at that point. Edmonds isn't a concern. Conacher and Alexandrov aren't concerns. Olsen, I don't know if I'm going to bring him back. We're definitely going to look to re-sign Taylor Radish. Definitely going to re-sign Taylor Radish, and at that point, he's only going to look for a one-way deal, so god damn it, I closed the app thinking we were done. We're not. We're not at all. 1325 is the magic number. Drop that down to 115 for good old Taylor Radish, and that is all we need to do for now. So the upcoming re-sign phase is going to be incredibly straightforward for us. In the meantime, let's go. Let's finish up the sim on this season. Will we end up being a playoff team? I doubt it. But to say the future looks bright would be an understatement. And for this season, as Shore rejected, as did Spurgeon. Radish accepted, though. You know what? I'm all right with that. Actually, man, I don't know. I'll offer Jared Spurgeon and Shore what they want. But to be honest, if they both decline again, I think I'm going to trade them at the deadline just to get something for them now, because I'm not willing to let them walk to free agency. There's no way. There is no way. We will at least get something for you. So Spurgeon will drop that down to 4.5. I feel like that's fair. We'll see what he says to that. Nick Shore, how about 175, which is really, I mean, it's not bad for a third to fourth liner, but it's not ideal. And in the system, everybody accepted that we needed to accept, indeed. And goaltenders, we were good. Right. So again, we still wait to see if we can re-sign those two. If they still demand that higher pay cut, then it's not happening. Could also have to do with the fact that they were UFAs and the others were RFAs as to why they were willing to accept the 85% deal. Still, look, we're still figuring out things with NHL 18. I mean, there's been a lot of, oh God. All right, so Andre Burakovsky's out. Please don't tell me Mitch Marner's going to be pissed that he missed one game. He's showing up as an 85. Yeah, he missed one fucking game. Well, we'll see if he can bounce back. He fucking better. But Mitch Marner right now is sitting at an 85. Damn it. Damn it, don't I just love when that happens. Again, we'll have to play Joe Morrow on the fourth line as well because I can't call anybody up. And let's hope that Marner recovers. If Marner doesn't recover, as Shore rejected and Spurgeon rejected, so those two are getting traded. No doubt. Those two are getting traded. Not that I want to trade Mitch Marner. He did just re-sign. Now he's losing morale because of ice time. You have power play time. We might have to lose Mitch Marner. That's looking like a potential reality here, that we could be losing Mitch Marner. And as far as what I want to do scouting-wise here, do I want to just go 6 weeks again for forward and defense? Or do I want to take a quick look around the rest of the world here? Let's see, if I go 6 weeks, that's, all right, so 70% of the season. You know what? I'll still do that. I'm at least scouting the forwards for 6 weeks. But in the meantime now, we need to see if Mitch Marner is going to recover from this current situation. He was complaining about ice time. I mean, he has power play time, does he not? He doesn't have top-line power play time, at least. Right. So, I don't know, man. This sucks, because, I mean, Marner did re-sign, but we could be in a little bit of trouble. Let's go best lines here really quick. And we'll put Patrick there. Marner will still be on the second line. Defensively, I do want to put Gardner with McDonough. And then on the power play, I mean, Spurgeon's a good enough player. I'm going to take Brodin off of the power play. We're going to have Marner and McDonough. And then we'll have Burakovsky at center, so Sprong. I could put DeBrusk there, or I could put Dadonov. And to be honest, I'm going to put DeBrusk there because he needs that little bit of extra experience. And then the PK, we have Tierney and Shore, Patrick and Brown. Okay, that's good. That's good. So let's see what happens and whether or not Mitch Marner can decide to freaking get it together here to not completely screw me over, which could still happen. Again, I thought too, I mean, I think I just flat out forgot to switch him back because of the scouting and everything. Jyrki Jokipaka is on waivers. I'm going to decline and hope that somebody else shows up. Now let's take a look. See if Mitch Marner's bounced back at all. But at the very least, we are going to trade Spurgeon. I mean, we're 9 points back of Minnesota, tied in games played. So at the very least, Spurgeon's gone. Marner's still an 85, which, I mean, whatever. We can put up with, for this season. Hopefully he bounces back. I mean, even at an 85, he's still worth keeping on this team. But at the very least, Jared Spurgeon, unfortunately, has to go. As does Nick Shore. I mean, I don't want them to be like, oh, I want to go test the open market. At least in the case of Spurgeon. I mean, I really like both of these players, obviously. But it's like I'm trying to save a little bit of money here, fellas. But it's very clear that they care a little bit more about the money than they care about potentially winning. So let's take a look at Nick Shore. He's not worth a whole hell of a lot, but we'll send him elsewhere. We will send him elsewhere. Anaheim looks like a good destination. So let's see. I mean, I could go for draft picks. Actually, I'd rather go for prospects. I know, like, right now isn't the ideal situation, and he's not exactly worth a prospect. I think Spurgeon, it'd be easier to get a prospect for him. But can I get a third-round pick for Shore next year? That would go through. Well, Nick, I'm sorry, buddy. I'd love to have you here, but you are gone, my friend. All right, so I can't get a fifth. Can I get a 3rd and a 6th rounder next year? No, the value is just a bit low. So how about Shore? And I wanted to give up a 7th. All right, Shore. Wow, we have a lot of picks this year, too. I should probably do something about that. So we have Nick Shore and a 7th this year for a 3rd and a 6th, both in 2021. That'll go through. Nick Shore, see you later, buddy. See you later, buddy. It just wasn't meant to be. All you had to do was accept that deal. That's all you had to do, and it didn't happen. Apparently, we'd still be over the cap, which puts us into a little bit of trouble, so we'll leave the team the same for the moment. I'm going to have to trade Spurgeon, and yes, we are going to call up Kosarenkov. And probably Liljegren. I might just let Morrow play. I mean, we're stuck with Morrow for the rest of the year, but yeah, see, Jared Spurgeon and his value, I can't risk him walking away for nothing. So we are going to have to find a landing spot for one Jared Spurgeon, and this is where we'll look for prospects rather than picks. And Alexi Sorel, wow, Sorel actually made it up to a 70, in fairness. That's better than what I thought he'd do. Let's see, Buffalo can't afford him. Columbus can. They have a really decent record, too. Vitaly Abramov, Halverson. All right, so nobody great there. Detroit. I mean, they're getting rid of players. They're looking to sell 20 and 36 on the year. Who else can take this deal? Minnesota, and they do have a half-decent record, but they're not getting rid of any players. Interesting strategy. Nashville, listed as contenders, but they're getting rid of some better players. Oh, they're getting rid of some better players, all right. Holy shit. I don't think we have the tools to make that happen, but maybe we'll explore that in a minute. Maybe. Jesus, the Islanders aren't getting rid of anybody. The Rangers are selling off players. The Sens are selling off players. Who else do we have here? Vegas. Vegas actually has a half-decent record, but it looks like they're still getting rid of players. They're at least getting rid of goaltenders. Literally the only team that has a player that I'd like to acquire in exchange for Jared Spurgeon would be the Nashville Predators for Roman Josi. Now, I don't... Like, that's the game-changing defenseman that we need. And can you imagine a McDonough-Josi pairing with Gardner and Brodin as the second pair? Holy hell. As far as what we have asset-wise to give up to make this happen, we don't have a first-round pick this year. I mean, it would be Bulis. It would have to be Bulis. The 34th overall pick, medium elite. I mean, what a steal. Here's the thing, though. When it comes to a trade like this, when you have a series, you want someone like Bulis to be the hero of the series that you look back on instead of Roman Josi. It's something extra special about it when it's a player that you drafted. But considering we're going for the cup right now, that is the only way. So it's either I trade Jared Spurgeon for meh kind of draft picks, or I send Bulis and Spurgeon to Nashville and probably add a little bit more. Maybe try to get something back because they want to trade Josi. I mean, I'm giving up a medium elite forward, though, to make this happen. I mean, Roman Josi's 29 years old. He's in the prime of his career. He's a legitimate top 2 defenseman. He'd be looking for a big contract next year, but factor in Jared Spurgeon making $5.1 million, Joe Morrow and Dadonov making money. We can afford Roman Josi, make no mistake. I mean, here's the thing. I wouldn't mind Bulis being a part of this series, but very quickly, because of Pasternak and Marner signing those 2 players, we have gone from the rebuilders out of the draft to contenders, and we need to shift our focus. We are going to try and get this deal done to bring in Roman Josi, and then you talk about what we might be missing heading into a potential cup run next year. I'm not sure it's a whole hell of a lot. And that almost went through. You'll need to sweeten the value just a touch. So we're talking Josi, a 2nd and a 3rd for Spurgeon, Bulis, and some low-end picks. Again, we need to get something for Spurgeon. It's just, do I want to give up on Radek Bulis to try and win a cup? It's a lot to give up, but we're talking one of the best defensemen in the game. And for that reason, we have to do it. The goal is to win the cup. We're not in Bulis's cup window right now. We're in Roman Yossi's. So let's see what we can do here draft pick-wise. We'll start off by giving up 1 6th-rounder. That's not enough. Hopefully 2, maybe 3. I'm all right with that. We'll see what happens. We have Anaheim 6th as well. Cannot believe I'm doing this. That wouldn't go through either. Will 1 more 6th-round pick be enough? We have Carolinas as well. Will this deal go through? No, it won't. Okay, so we're going to have to look into 5th-round picks. Not like we don't have enough of them. Carolina's 5th, not enough. We'll give up 6th-rounder from Boston. Will that go through? No, it won't. Oh, God. Oh, Nashville. Nashville. Will that work? No. I'm going to have to give up another 5th-rounder. All right. I mean, I'm willing to do it. So, again, Spurgeon, Bulis, 2 5th-round picks and a 6th-round pick this year for Josi, their 2nd and 3rd this season. Still no. I'm going to have to go to 3 5th-round picks. I mean, it's all right, because I need to get rid of some picks anyway. Still no. I have to admit I'm a bit surprised. I could easily take out the 3rd-round pick. I'm not going to. Let's see if we give up Anaheim's 4th. Still no, but now that we have a 4th-rounder in there, let's go back to Anaheim and Boston 6th. Both are good teams. Will that go through? Wow, man. David Poyle, you are stingy, aren't you? A 4th, 5th, and 6th? A 4th and 2 5ths. We'll give you Florida's 5th. This is crazy. I can't believe. God, I thought I had cold feet about this situation. They really don't want to give up anything. It's that extra 3rd-round pick, but damn it, like I said, I have to give up draft picks anyway. We have too many. At least it looks like we have too many. Will this work? All right, we'll try 2 4ths and a 5th. This is taking so much longer than I would have expected. Will that go through? It will. Spurgeon, who we don't want to walk away for free. Radek Bulis, medium elite player that we took 34th overall. 2 4th-rounders and a 5th-rounder. For Roman Josi, a 2nd and a 3rd. And I know what you're saying. You're crazy because Josi might end up being a free agent, but this is a guarantee. This is a guarantee. And I'll pay Roman Josi whatever the hell he wants. I'm doing it. You can tell I'm a little bit unsure. Radek Bulis, I'm so sorry. You are off to Nashville. Roman Josi is a Hartford Whaler. Simply because Jared Spurgeon would not sign. That is the only reason. I had no intention of going after Roman Josi. But it's just one of those things, and right now, Joe Morrow is fucking killing me. I can send him down at least, so that's good. He'll play in the AHL for the rest of the year, and that way we get Kosarenkov to replace Shore. So let's take a look at what this team's looking like, shall we? The top line will remain the same. We'll still have Dadonov there, DeBrusk, Burakovsky, Brown, Jones, Tierney, and Kosarenkov as a depth player. I gotta be honest, I'm gonna bump up Kosarenkov. I have him with DeBrusk and Burakovsky. I know what some of you are probably saying. 3 snipers, change somebody. We're not gonna do that though. And then the new top pairing is Josi and McDonough, Gardner, Brodin, Carlson, and Polka. What the hell? Power play wise, again, I'm going to take out Eunice Brodin. We're going to take out Brodin. I'm probably going to put in Jake DeBrusk again. We're going to drop McDonough down. And that looks good. Yeah, that looks good. So that's going to be our power play. And then the PK, again, needs to be Connor Brown and Tierney. You got Jones and Patrick now. That looks good. I think we're set. So a big last half of the season coming up for guys like DeBrusk and Kosarenkov. Shore is gone. Spurgeon is gone. We have Roman Josi. What the hell is going on? How did we end up with Roman Josi? Like, how does this happen? I don't get it. It just happens. It's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. We'll drop Grabeshkov down all the way to the fourth line, and then extras is going to be 3v3. Yeah. So let's put in, it literally doesn't matter. Bodine, whatever. Does he already have a spot? Good, he doesn't. And the goaltending, of course, is good to go. So we are fine, with the exception of needing a depth forward or two for the rest of the year in case of injury. And obviously cap space-wise, we're in a bit of a crunch. I don't think we have any prospects that we can sign at this point. I don't think we do. No, we at least have some cap space. Of course, right now, I'm going to offer Roman Josi a deal. I'll see if he'll accept a 6x6 deal. If not, we will pay him more. No doubt about it. He said he's not looking for an extension, though, which is certainly risky. But again, at the draft, you can trade players that don't have contracts heading into the next offseason, and teams are willing to accept. So let's see, is there anybody here that I'd be willing as a forward to sign? You got Hall, Kostitsyn. I mean, odds are I could end up with better players. I mean, I'm not sure if I want to sign a medium bottom six guy to our team, because odds are we are going to, be able to find better players, even on the free agent list that went unsigned, or undrafted, I should say. So let's go to yield free agent list at the moment, and we shall see what forwards we can bring in purely as depth. And let's see, let's go with, I want minor league players, like literally minor league scorers. We got Gustav Posler's there, Michael Chaput. I think that's Drew Shore, or is it? Yeah, it is Drew Shore. Tedenby, Carey, Brian Flynn. I'll sign Jordan Wheel. I'm tempted to sign Brian Flynn, former Portland Pirate, if I'm not mistaken. Kenny Agostino was there. Peter Mueller, Bud Holloway, Matt Fratton. And really, it doesn't matter. But, I don't know, I'm just kind of looking for a familiar name. Name that I actually want to make sure, has a job. And at this point, yeah, it's kind of irrelevant. I'm going to go way back up a ways, and we are going to sign Brian Flynn. All right, so there we go. Flynn and Wheel, get those offers. We're pretty much good to go. I just need to double check how many draft picks we have. Like I said, anything over like 15, and I start to get a little bit nervous that I might crash the draft, just because you never know. So let's see, we have 12 there. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 20 picks. That needs to change. So let's get 5 6th round picks for next season. Who's a bad team this year aside from us, of course? St. Louis had 27 wins. Let's go talk to the New York Rangers. And how would you like to give up your 3rd, 4th, and 5th next year? That's going to be way too much, and there's no way it goes through. How about a 4th and a 5th next year? I just noticed how one-sided the value bars were. And they were one-sided, but hey, it is what it is. I'm all right with it. I needed to get a deal done anyway. So 12, 13, 14, 15, 6. All right, good. 15. Perfect. We're good. We're good. Let's finally sim through the rest of this season. Can Mitch Marner get back into good spirits? Can we get Roman Josi to resign? I mean, we're not going to make the playoffs. Brian Flynn accepted, which is nice. We'll get him down in the AHL. Josi rejected. Wheel accepted. Now, I know Jared Spurgeon said the same thing. Like, I'll accept if you give me more money. Shore said the same thing as well. But with those players, I really don't want to overspend, right? Why would I spend like 5.3 to 5.5 million on Jared Spurgeon? I am much, much more happy to give Roman Josi 6.75 for the next 3 years. That's much better. And by the way, now he's only looking for a 3-year deal, which is interesting, but I'm more than all right with. It'll make that contract much more movable if it needs to be. So we'll again see if Roman Josi accepts giving up Radek Bulis. Is that something that I'm going to regret? More than likely. Josi still declined, which is fine because I'm still willing to pay him more. He might just want to wait until the end of the season. I don't really care. I need to get him under contract ASAP. I mean, literally for Yossi, I'm willing to go as high as, say, $7 million, if not more. Now he wants a 7-year deal again. How about 6.9? We started off... Whoa, I have no idea what that just said. I didn't expect that to go through. But we started off the episode with a 6.9, and hopefully we can continue it by signing Roman Josi. So let's see. Funny thing is, I mean, we at least beat Nashville in that game against them. Not looking like either team's going to make it. And there you go. Roman Josi has accepted, 7 years at $6.9 million per. But we have signed Roman Josi. So would I rather have Roman Josi for $1.4 million more per season over Jared Spurgeon? Yeah, I really would. As unfortunately Daniel Sprong goes down to injury, which means we're probably going to have to call up Jordan Wheel. Because as it is, he won't be in the lineup down in the AHL. So, well, here, let's see. Who's more ready at this point? Larson, decent defensively. I mean, decent offensively, too. He just doesn't have a shot. Jordan Wheel, a bit more of a ready playmaker. Taylor Radish is a pretty well-rounded player. I didn't even realize he was a power forward this year. And you got Brian Flynn. You know, I think I'm going to give Taylor Radish the opportunity here. Let's call him up and see now. It's a really good thing I signed Wheel and Flynn. Had a feeling more injuries would happen. Marner still isn't happy. Me trading away Jared Spurgeon doesn't help. But Marner isn't happy, despite having that top-line power play time. The game by default does put him on the top unit. So you know what? We'll keep him there, I guess. On the top line, I guess... do we want to go Dadonov? What do we want to do here center-wise? I'm thinking maybe even Burakovsky Patrick. And then Tierney can play center, as can Kosarenko. So there we go. I'm actually okay with that little lineup setup right there. And then, of course, the power play. We'll see what happens now that Marner's on that top unit. We'll treat it like that. And then we'll put Jordan Wheel into the lineup here as a top line right wing. Again, not looking like the Whalers are going to make the playoffs this year. No surprises there, of course. But still, I'm all right with how the season has gone. I mean, what the hell? Let's put in Nando. Why not? We'll put in Nando. God, our 3v3 lines suck, but it's all right. So again, unfortunately, Daniel Sprong is out for this entire month. But it's not like that's really going to factor in. We are, we're picking up wins here and there. A couple of losses here and there as well, though. So it kind of offsets. The Division 2 is somewhat strong. We're just not going to be able to get it done. I mean, we lost 4 games in a row before beating Vegas. So just not our year, but absolutely when talking about, the players that we signed compared to the players that we've traded for. As Radish went up to a 75. Not bad. But it's been a very formative year for the Whalers as we continue to move forward. Mitch Marner is just pissing me off. You missed one fucking game. Man up. Man up. Like, come on. See, I hate that about this game. He missed one game. One game. And legitimately, we might have to look at trading him. Because that's how this game works. It's still the same. It's unreal. We will just go with the best line setup. Kosarenkov's already up to a 78, which is kind of nice. Yeah, we'll keep that same setup. And Jordan Wheel. Yeah, we'll take Jordan Wheel out for Taylor Radish. I mean, the only thing I can really think to do with Mitch Marner is to give him a letter. That might be the only thing that can help him recover. Of course, we've recovered from this situation before. If you watched the Manhattan Project, you know that we had trouble with Brady Shea, and we were able to survive that situation, and he was still a very solid defenseman for us. Let's take the alternate away from Dadonov. He doesn't need it. And we'll give it to Mitch Marner. And to be honest, we'll just leave Brodin with the A for now. I don't like taking, letters away from players mid-season because it's really just kind of pointless. All it does is piss off the players. But hopefully now, Mitch, you can figure it out. You can figure it out. Stop complaining because I accidentally left you scratched for one game. You'll be fine, I promise. You'll be fine. Let's sim to the end of the year. I don't even know if we'll hit 35 wins. We could lose out at this point. Never mind. We beat Washington immediately with a 3-0 shutout victory. So, defense. God damn it. This might be a mistake to be scouting the CHL this heavily. But there's really no perfect method because, again, unless a player shows up with the exact potential, it's a shot-in-the-dark guess anyway. But there you have it. The regular season has come to an end. Neither one of our clubs made the playoffs, which really can't be a surprise. I mean, I'm certainly not surprised. I was hoping we'd be able to, of course, make the playoffs at least with the Whalers. That did not happen. Marner still at an 83. To be honest, there's a really good chance we trade Mitch Marner at the draft. We might not even get fair value for him, but even then, it would have been more than what we paid to get him, just a second-round pick. So there is a very strong chance that this, that Mitch Marner has played his final game for us. Where we send him, I don't know, but it could factor into us doing, some damage at the draft. As you see how kind of competitive this division was, we did finish in 7th, 9 points back of the Blackhawks, no wildcard spots for any teams in this division. By the way, yes, I know at the deadline I didn't check trades. I'm sorry, I always forget. Again, I get just way too much focus and tunnel vision on our team to give a damn about checking out anybody else's. I'm sorry, it's a flaw. I can admit it. So we finished 27th in the league. You have the Rangers there, the Panthers, the Coyotes, the Avalanche, and the Red Wings. 24 wins all season long. That is surprising. As far as the point totals go, Artemi Panarin, 69 points, 29 goals for us. David Pastrnak with 68 points and 20 goals. Nolan Patrick at the 23-goal mark. He had 65 points, and from there, it drops off. Mitch Marner, 48 points. Incredibly disappointing. Roman Josi had 48 points. Sprong with 43. Not too bad, and if he didn't miss 10 games, he probably would have hit the 20-goal mark. Burakovsky with 41 points. Not bad for a third to second liner. Connor Brown, 36 points on the third line, 18 goals. I'm more than happy with that. McDonough with 31 goals. 31 goals, I wish. 31 points for McDonough. 30 points for Evgeny Dadonov. You have Gardner at 27. Brodin, 1 goal, 23 assists. DeBrusk with 23 points. A bit disappointing. I wanted him to at least hit the 30 mark. Tierney with 21 points. It's not bad. Max Jones, 13 points on the fourth line. Gabriel Carlson was a disaster this year. Make no mistake about it. He was an absolute disaster this year. He might not stick around moving forward. That's tough to tell. It's tough to say, and time will tell. The goaltending, Korpisalo, a 914 save percentage in 65 appearances, a 921 in 21 appearances for Malcolm Subban. Down in the AHL, rough time for Mikanov and Allen, as you would expect, but they both got, a decent amount of appearances. Taking a look at the skaters, you had Olsen and Liljegren at 52 points each, also 50 points in 62 games for Kosarenkov. Needless to say, he's a bit too good for the AHL. And Phil Crosby, in fairness, 49 points for him. Not a bad stretch there for the Connecticut Whale. Let's take a look league-wide before we sim to the end of the season. Of course, we'll take a look at the playoffs, and of course the draft will be in the next episode. But James Neal and Tyler Seguin tied for points with 89, 41 goals for Neal. Alex Ovechkin with 87 points, 60 goals, 85 points for Backstrom, as you would expect. You had Connor McDavid with 84 points. Stamkos was up there. No real surprises. Maybe Getzlaf being that far up the list is a bit surprising. But Ovi with 60 goals. Tavares had 44. Eichel with 43. Neal and Kane at 41 each were the only other guys to break the 40-goal mark. And by the way, Vancouver fans, Brock Besser, 34 goals. Damn. All right, so let's go ahead. We'll sim to the end of the season. We'll take a look at the awards, of course, and then that'll do it for this one. The next episode will be the draft, which again, do we trade Mitch Marner? Probably not, but I mean, we could, and we could probably get a top 5 pick out of it if we did. Again, dealing with the morale system is just such a pain in the ass, but I wanted that extra challenge. It's unfortunate that Marner, accidentally ended up sitting out for 1 game, but them's the breaks. Them's the breaks. Like I said, I don't want to be able to just, have a bunch of NHL caliber guys sitting down in the AHL and them being happy about it. I wanted that extra challenge with it as we wait for the scouting to load up. There we go. All right, so again, that's good. I guess we'll scout the states for a week. Maybe go to the SHL and Russia as well if we have time. It's going to be right down to the wire as far as scouting goes, but just to get us a little bit of information on some of these players at the very least. Let's go over to Russia next. We'll scout their forwards for a week. We'll see what happens. Also, I'm going to stop simulation here. We're going to go take one more look at the draft board. I want to see if anything changed with the players that we pinned. Hopefully not, and hopefully you're right, and hopefully those players are amazing, but you never quite know. And there you go. Clemens went from exact elite to medium top 6. All right, and Madsen went from elite to high top 6. So, again, the number can change. Just because they show up as, exact at one moment doesn't mean they're going to stay that way. So that's typically, that's the same thing it's always done. It hasn't been any different. We've done all right drafting-wise, all things considered. And keep in mind, I didn't scout. I don't think I scouted these leagues. Maybe Madsen. No, Madsen was WHL, and he changed. I didn't scout the WHL in this episode, so it's just one of those things, guys. It's just one of those things. But goalies we haven't scouted all year. Defensemen, you have Appleby and Harkins showing up as decent. Emmanuel Gaudet might be decent. I don't trust that, though, at all. Right wings, Shattenkirk probably will be decent. But, yeah, for the most part, Sharma, projected to be undrafted. We'll see, right? That'll probably change. And Philippe Gagné. Philippe Coutinho. I'm going to call him Phil. I doubt he ends up being that decent. As is, I've already reached the maxed pinned names deal. We'll see what happens in the draft, all right? Again, I criticize this system a lot. I don't give it as much credit as I should, but also how much credit doesn't really deserve anyway. I don't know. It's up to you to decide. It is what it is. We'll go through the draft. Hopefully we do well. But to call it an imperfect science would be an understatement. An absolute understatement. So let's go ahead and... Did I miss the cup being awarded? Am I just zoning out that much today? Did I miss the cup being awarded? It had to have been awarded by now. I don't know who the hell it went to. We'll find out in a minute. Oh, I swear we're missing it, but let's take a look here. So the Bruins do end up with the 7th overall pick. Of course, thanks to us acquiring David Pastrnak. Is Pastrnak going to be better than whoever they get with that pick? Probably. That's a fairly safe bet, as Pittsburgh ended up getting the number 1 overall pick. How the hell did that happen? Let's take a look at the old retired players list. We didn't lose anybody, which is, not all that surprising. We have a fairly young team, all things considered. Goaltenders, Antti Niemi, the monster, Jonas Gustafsson, Anton Khudobin, and Curtis McElhaney have retired, as well as Brad Thiessen and good old Drew McIntyre. Who did we lose for defensemen? Andrei Markov, Dennis Weidman, Enstrom, Wisniewski, Dennis Seidenberg, Mark Stewart, among others. Let's take a look at the NHL veterans. Hainsey, Tom Gilbert, Roman Polak, Clayton Stoner. Oh no, what's the league going to do without Clayton Stoner? From there, Jumbo Joe, Marion Hossa, Rick Nash, Rabada, Sharp, Joffrey Lupul, among others, retire from the league as well. And that brings us to the draft. Now, I am going to clear out the trading block because if there's a move to be found, we will find it. Of course, the trading block was very effective for us in previous drafts, but right now, that doesn't really help us because we need to really see what kind of progression we get from certain players. And to be honest, maybe we'll take a look mid-draft to see if there's a certain blockbuster that can be made. Again, Mitch Marner's future with this club is very, very much in doubt. We will see what happens moving forward. But that brings us to draft day. However, we will not be going through the draft until the next episode. The Chicago Blackhawks won the Stanley Cup. That is a bit depressing. Just a little bit depressing. Of course, Dallas, Calgary, and now Chicago. So the Western Conference dominating so far in the series. The Art Ross went to James Neal. Of course, there was a tie with Sagan, in fact, who won it the year before. The Hart Trophy goes to Sagan, so fair trade. The Norris goes to Brent Burns. Sagan wins the Lady Byng. Alex DeBrincat won the Calder. Patrick Kane wins the Conn Smythe. John Gibson, the Vezina. Cam Talbot, for the third straight year, wins the Jennings. Erica Branson wins the Masterton. The Selke, I mean, come on, who else is it going to go to? Third straight year, it's Bergeron, at least within the sim. Sagan wins the Ted Lindsay, and of course, Alex Ovechkin wins the Art Ross. Down in the AHL, the Manitoba Moose won the Calder Cup. JT Compher put up the most points. He was also league MVP. Owen Tippett scored the most goals. That's always good to see. The Rookie of the Year was Michael Spacek. Sam Girard, the Defenseman of the Year, Michael Hutchinson. The Goaltender of the Year, and the MVP of the playoffs. There you go, guys. Yes, you. I'm talking to you individually. I'm talking to you. That will do it for this episode. Now, again, as far as what's going to happen in the next one, I have no idea. Because, again, if you were to tell me that I would have had Roman Josi at the end of this episode when I had started it, I would have called you a filthy, filthy liar. Our biggest decision is what the hell do we do with one Mitch Marner? Do we trade him to try and move up within this draft, or do we hold on to him in hopes that he kind of bounces back from his current morale dilemma? Let me know what you think down in the comments below. And until next time, again, I hope you did enjoy. If you did, I'm begging for likes, man. Let's see if we can hit 5.5 likes. Literally 5.5. Make it happen. Subscribe if you haven't already for more of this incredible content. I can't say that. Oh, I can't say that with a straight face. If you haven't followed me on Twitter already, feel free to do so for updates. It's relatively important. You can also follow me along on Twitch as we're still on the road to 5K, which is looking good. There's a Discord as well, which I still don't know the damn link fully. Maybe I put it in the description. Maybe I didn't. You can find it. There are ways to find it. But yeah, have a good day or night, wherever you are, whoever you are. I will be right here waiting for you. No. Seriously. Have a good day. I make these episodes to just, again, say what you will. I make these episodes for me. I make these episodes for you so that I don't have to worry about shit for 20 minutes to an hour. And hopefully you get to feel the same way as we follow along the venture of this team until eventually I go insane or we have a lot of success. Usually it ends up going one of two ways. And so far, we haven't had much success. Hopefully that's not a sign of things to come. Hopefully me rambling at the end of videos also isn't a sign of things to come, although that's been a thing for a very, very long time. Goodbye.